Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is the first of our series of 4 new student and family engagement sessions. The topic tonight is going to focus primarily on our Centennial Hall colleagues and move-in, as well as our meal plan arrangement that we have with Syracuse University. So tonight we'll be talking a little bit about prior to your arrival, what you might want to think about, some of the amenities and wonderful programming that goes on in Centennial Hall, meal plan overviews, and then we'll leave some time at the end for some Q&A. If you have a question, remember I will be answering some of those in the chat. You can also private message me as well if you didn't want to answer or ask the question in the larger group. If you need any other kinds of support or accommodations throughout this, please let me know. And this session will be recorded and available later on for your convenience.
It's recorded. It's recorded. We're not on speaker, right?
Okay, so I'm going to first turn it over to our wonderful Dean Ann Lombard, who will be sharing a little bit of information about our pre-arrival process. Ann, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Amelia, and thanks so much for coordinating this tonight. Hello, everyone. My name is Dean Lombard, and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Student Affairs Officer and Dean of Students here at ESF. I'm so pleased to be among the first to formally welcome you to ESF. We are so looking forward to your arrival, and we've got lots of things planned, and so we're going to start to talk a little bit about that right now. Amelia, if you want to advance the slide. I want to talk a little bit about some information that I know you've been wondering about, and that is about immunization information. So I just want to give you a heads up about a couple of things. Around August 1st, you will receive an email from us asking you to submit your immunization information. So let me go over what the expectations are. New York Public Health Law, SUNY policy, and Syracuse University policy helps to inform what our students are responsible for. And so our students are responsible for receiving MMR, which is measles, mumps, and rubella. Most of you probably got that as you were going into K-12. And then you also have to share information about either that you've received the meningitis vaccination or that you understand the risks associated with meningitis. There is an immunization history form that's available on our website. Down below, you can see that's right off our main page at /health. That's what you're going to be asked to submit to us on beginning on August 1st. So that needs to be in before you come to campus. So that's a little bit about MMR. So MMR is required. Meningitis is not required, but if you don't have meningitis, you have to sign the form indicating that you are aware of the risks associated with meningitis. Then there's COVID. SUNY policy requires that all SUNY students who are going to be on campus in person are required to complete the initial meningitis vaccination series. So that's either the 1-shot Johnson & Johnson or the 2-shot Moderna or Pfizer. But we take that a little bit further. Syracuse University requires its students to be not just vaccinated against COVID-19, but also to receive all of the boosters that you are eligible to receive. And why is that important? Because our students and SU students and the SU campus are inextricably linked. Our students take classes there. Our students use the dining services there, the libraries, the recreational facilities, and so on. So they require their students to be vaccinated and boosted, and therefore we have the same expectation for our students. Later this fall, You'll also start getting notification about flu shots. Flu shots are required by Syracuse University of their students, and therefore that's an expectation then that we have for ESF students as well. However, SUNY policy does allow for students to request exemptions from COVID-19 for some very specific reasons, for sincerely held religious beliefs, for medical reasons. You can read a little bit more about that on our health website. The SUNY policy, the link to the state law related to MMR is available there also. So that's a broad overview of what the expectations are. But what I mostly want you to know is that we haven't asked you to submit that information yet. We're going to ask you to do that on or around August 1st. However, the process to request an exemption, if that applies to you, is available now on our website. And that's also accessible off the health webpage. If you are requesting exemption for MMR and meningitis, that is part of the health immunization history form that I mentioned. If you are requesting exemption for one of the allowable reasons for the COVID vaccination, there are links on that website depending on whether it's a medical reason or a sincerely held religious belief. So I'm going to stop talking so much about that, but just say to direct you to our health webpage where there's information about the immunization requirements. And if you have questions, you can always reach out to our Office of Student Affairs at studenthelp@esf.edu or by contacting either Amelia or myself. So that's a little bit about what's coming up. You can find more information on our website. Amelia, next slide, please. Turn it over to my colleagues, Amanda and Megan.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Osborne and I am the community manager down at Centennial Hall. So what that means is that I oversee all of our full-time staff and the daily operations that happen within the building. So I'm overseeing Megan Catalano, which I'll introduce in a minute, our assistant community manager, our second resident director that is joining us, all of our maintenance staff, and I'm there to make sure that the building is in good condition and that you're having a great experience. And I will let Megan introduce herself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Megan Catalano, and I am one of two resident directors, also known as residential experience coordinators here at Centennial Hall. And what that means is that I have the privilege of working with the resident assistants who you will all get to know very well, and they will help you on your journey here at ESF. And I also get to work with creating fun events outside of the classroom for you to attend. And we'll get into that a little bit further. So nice to meet you.
So move in is going to be broken into 2 days for our first year students. So if you're in a triple room, you will move in on Monday, August 22nd. And any other room type, such as our doubles, our twin suites, or any accommodation rooms, will move in on August 23rd. If you are a part of a special group, so if you're an athlete, you're part of EOP, you're part of LSAMP, marching band, you're an international student, any type of group like that, there are specific move-in dates for you that will be different because you'll be moving in early, but they're all available through the same link that you've received to your email. To kind of go along with that so that you can prepare for travel, winter break, we do close the building and you will need to leave 24 hours after your last exam or Saturday, December 17th by 2 p.m., whichever one is earlier. And then at the end of the year, once again, you'll have to leave 24 hours after your last final or no later than Thursday, the May 4th at 2 p.m. So make sure that you know that. So if you need to make travel arrangements, if you need to buy plane tickets, I know that they're always much cheaper in advance. So you want to make sure that you can get those dates ahead of time. So kind of what you expect at move-in is you will receive emails throughout the summer. When you show up, there will be a lot of tents outside and a lot of people. You'll see all of our faces again. As you move in, you'll have resident assistants, you'll have orientation leaders, you'll have desk assistants and professional staff there to help you. We will need your ID, so that way we can get you checked in. You'll receive your ESF ID, you'll receive your keys and your fob to the building. And at that point, we'll also get you some carts available, so that way you can help move your belongings in. You can have your family or friends help you move in. Obviously, you might not want to bring 16 people with you, but if you can fit them in your vehicle, feel free to bring them with you. We will have activities planned, so especially for our folks in the triple rooms who will be here a day before orientation. Megan Catalano and I know Amelia's office have been working on some awesome programming available to make sure that you are welcome and getting to know folks. And then orientation will start on the 23rd. Next slide. So things to bring, we will need a photo ID. So whether that's a driver's license, a passport, anything that has your name and your photo will be really helpful for us so we can verify that you are who you are. Please be patient with us. We know that it's going to be a busy, hectic day for you all. We will be moving in a lot of students, and so we're going to try our very best. There are things that might happen. We can't control the weather. We can't control traffic, things like that. So please be patient with us, and we'll be as patient with you as possible. And we do ask that you check your email throughout the summer, because we will be sending out important messages, and we're going to break those into small groups. So that way we can make sure that you're not getting overwhelmed with information all at once. The next slide, please. So we have already sent out an email about a sign up time for check-in. So there will be specific check-in dates. I can see that there is questions about if there'll be staff for move-in, and we do have staff available. We will get you moved in. There will be staff available pretty much 24/7 once you arrive on campus. So our front desk is always staffed. We have desk assistants from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day. Our resident assistants sit on the desk from 8 p.m. to midnight, and then we have security from midnight until 8 a.m. every single day. So if you're getting a plane and you're not getting here until midnight, we can still check you in. Pre-orientation programming is going to be offered throughout these days. So as you're getting ready to move in and get started with orientation, we're going to make sure that we have fun activities for you and you're not just hanging out in your room the whole time. And then once school starts and classes start and orientation's over, Megan and her lovely counterpart, Jessie, will be there to help you all to acclimate and do some fun activities. And then, although this seems really strange to start thinking about before you've moved in, housing selection for the following year will actually start on October 12th. So that's when you would be able to sign up for your housing to return to Centennial Hall. And so we will make sure that as soon as you've moved in, you will know all about this for the following year, just because I know that it's such a wonderful place to live. It has some great accommodations, and I might be biased, but I love the staff too. Go on to the next screen. And then I'll pass it over to Megan to talk about all of the fun activities that there are and all the things that we'll be able to have fun with this year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Centennial Hall does programming right here in our building with our students that live in the building, trying to get you connected, making friends outside of the classroom, and take a breath from, when times get stressful when you're working on your homework. So this is just some examples of some of the things that we did this past year, and these are all pictures from this past year. Tie-dye is a fan favorite here. The most is a Museum of Science and Technology here, right here in Syracuse. The New York State Fair happens right after orientation or during orientation. There's a lot of opportunities there. We have Syracuse Mets, which is baseball. We have Syracuse Crunch, which is hockey. Those are right here, just around the corner from the campus. Just a lot of opportunities to get you out and about in the community. I want to point out a few things, specifically the murder mystery dinner, the chess games, the Smash Brothers tournaments. We did those, and by we, I mean the resident assistants and myself. We put those on in the fall, and there was such a large gathering of people that asked, can we please do that again? We had a fun time. So we actually repeated those programs in the fall because students were excited to do that. So what I want to share with you is that we're here to listen to what you want to do. We have all sorts of fun ideas, but at the end of the day, we only want to do what you want to do. It's your experience, and our ears are always listening to what you'd like to do for fun in the area. Last year, we did take a trip to New York City and we saw Dear Evan Hansen. We're thinking of maybe trips to Boston, but if there's other places you want to go, let us know. Come talk to us in the office. We're always here for you. So I'm going to turn it back over to Amanda.
There we go. I had to unmute. So I did drop into the chat our email address. So if you do have any questions, concerns, you want to know about your specific situation, please feel free to reach out to us. So we are in the office Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. during the summer, and we will gladly answer any of your questions. If it's a specific student account question, we want to make sure that we're giving you that. At any point in time, if you need us, we definitely make sure that we respond to our emails within 24 to 48 hours. If you call us and we're in the office, we'll answer, or we'll give you a call back as soon as we can. We're really here to make sure that you're having the best experience that you possibly can outside of the classroom. This really is your home for 10 months out of the year, and we want to make sure that it feels like your home and that you're having the best experience possible. Megan is one of those amazing humans that will help you throughout your entire journey. Jessie is another person who's joining us, who actually was our intern for the spring and just loved our building and our students so much that she was so excited to be able to come back in the professional role. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you are having an amazing experience, that you're learning things, and that we're taking your feedback and trying to make everything better and definitely catered to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much to our Centennial Hall colleagues. We're so excited to have you join in the most wonderful and beautiful residence hall, might I add. It is a fantastic space, and your students will be well taken care of, obviously, by our staff. So if you have any questions, I know they've already been answering some while they've been facilitating in the chat. We'll leave some questions about housing until the end. But I'm going to turn it back over again to Dean Ann Lombard, who's going to share a little bit about our meal plans.
Thanks so much, Amelia. I appreciate that. I know that people have questions about that. You are going to make your selection for your meal plan through the My Slice portal. So one thing that I want to make sure that you know that's really important is that there are two charges that don't come on your ESF bill. One is your meal plans from Syracuse University, and one doesn't apply to first-year students, and that's parking permits, because somewhere down the road, if you need a parking permit as an older student, you're going to get that through Syracuse University. But for this year, your meal plan is put on an SU bill. So you need to make sure that you're planning for that expense. If you've got financial aid and other things, that's not going to show up on your ESF bill. But you're going to go in through the My Slice portal and you're going to make your selection for your meal plan choice. So our requirements for our first year students are a little bit different than the requirement for first year Syracuse University students. They have 4 meal plan options at Syracuse. There are 2 block meal plans, and then there are 2 unlimited meal plans. And so what we require of all of our first year residential students is a minimum of the block 85 plan plus an additional $500 in Q's cash. So let me tell you a little bit about what this means. The 85 block or the block 130 means that you have 85 or 130 meal swipes in one of the dining halls. So one of those places is right near Centennial Hall. In Sadler, there's a dining center, and you can use those 85 swipes there or at the other dining centers on campus. With the block 8, and I know this is a little confusing, so please do feel free to ask questions in the chat, but I'll do my best to explain this to you. So what we require is that our students have a minimum of the lowest plan, which is the block 85. The swipes are per semester. I apologize if I said per year, but the swipes are per semester. And along with those block plans comes $200 in what they call dining dollars. And then we require an additional $500 in Q's cash. We want to make sure that you're getting enough to eat and that you're getting enough calories. Our recommendation to you is that you can, to start with the lowest plan, the block 85 plan or the block 130, if that is kind of more in line with what you think you might need in a semester, because you can always increase your meal plan at Syracuse University, but you can't always decrease it. So you can only decrease it up until the second Friday of each semester. So we recommend that you start with one of the lower meal plans, see if that's going to serve you. If it's not, you can always increase that to a higher meal plan. But again, we require our first year students to buy either the block 85 or the block 130, which includes $200 in dining dollars, plus an additional $500 in Q's cash. So you might be wondering what that is. Yes, you can switch plans between semesters. You'll have to choose a plan for the second semester. So you might find that what you chose this semester just wasn't meeting your needs. And as I said, you can always, at any time in the semester, you can always increase your meal plan, but you can't decrease it after that second Friday of the semester. So if we can go to the next slide, Amelia. So you're hearing me talk about dining dollars and also about Q's cash. So I'm going to do my best as someone who's never used either to explain to you what these are. So there are 3 things tied to your meal plan. One is the meal swipes. So that's the 85 swipes or the 130 swipes if you choose one of those 2 plans. Those are swipes that are usable for meals in the dining centers only. So like Ernie Davis or Sadler Dining Hall. I think there are 5 around campus. I'm looking to my Centennial colleagues to see if they can, or to Amelia. I think there are 5 around the SU campus. So that's one thing. So 85 meals in a semester gets you, not quite 1 meal a day. That's probably not going to be enough food for most people. So there are also $200 in dining dollars that are included with those block plans. Those can be used for food in various locations across the Syracuse University campus. So places like the Shine Student Center and some other places. And then the 3rd level is called Q's Cash. So Q's Cash is a really cool thing. It's a declining cash balance that provides you access not just to food, but also to services through using your ID card. So all 3 of these things are going to be on your ESF ID card based on what you choose. And then the Q's Cash can be used all over, including at the Dome, at their concession stands, and in other places. So a couple of important things that I want to tell you. Dining dollars, the $200 that's included with your meal swipes, does not roll over from semester to semester and is not refundable. So you want to make sure you use that because that's included with your meal plan if you choose one of the block plans. Q's Cash, on the other hand, you can always add more Q's Cash. And there's a benefit to using it. because you don't pay tax on things on food when you use your Q's cash or your dining dollars. But unused Q's cash gets credited back to your Syracuse University Bursars account at the end of the school year if you haven't used it. So it rolls over from fall semester to spring semester. And then if it goes unused, you get that credited back to your SU Bursars account. So I know it sounds kind of confusing, but you'll be a pro at this in no time, but that's what our meal expectations are. And so you can go to My Slice and choose your meal plan. I think that functionality should be available now. Remember that whatever you choose is going to show up on your Syracuse University bill. And so you need to plan for that if you're getting financial aid, to apply any unused financial aid that you might get at ESF and plan for that to help cover the cost of your meal plans. So yes, money can be added to Q's cash at any point. Understanding the question about Gabrielle's question, so maybe you could reword that for me, but the second Friday of the semester is when you can go to a lower plan. After the second Friday of the semester, you can only switch to a bigger plan. So the 130 meal block is just that. That's 130 meals that you can use over the course of a semester. And so there are about 15 weeks in a semester. So my math on demand is not great, but that's a little bit less than 10 meals a week. So that's a little bit about your meal plan options. If that option isn't available yet on My Slice, it will be available soon. But one of the exciting things that I want to mention to you is that we have entered into a new management agreement with our great colleagues at Syracuse University. And so we are going to be using their point of sale and ordering our food through their commissary. Your ID card will now be usable in both our Trailhead Cafe in the Gateway Center and at the brand new Moon Cafe in Moon Library. So you can use your dining dollars or your Q's cash at Trailhead and at the Moon Cafe in Moon Library. So your meal swipes won't work there. Those have to be used in one of the 5 dining centers, but your Q's cash or your dining dollars are usable at both the cafe and the library and at the Trailhead Cafe. So I think Amelia may have mentioned this, but if she didn't, I'll remind you that you are going to need to submit a headshot so that we can get your IDs made. You need to do that in 2 places. You do that once to Syracuse University, and that's how your student ID card gets made. And then you also upload a photo to ESF so that we can have that in our system. Yes, a meal swipe is when you swipe to get into one of the dining centers and you can eat your fill in your visit, whatever that might be. So, if I were planning for my meals in the fall, I'd plan to use my swipes for the biggest meals and then use my dining dollars and my Q's cash for things like coffee and smaller meals and snacks. Colleagues, do you have anything that you would like to add about meal plans that maybe I've forgotten to mention?
I would say one thing that students really benefit from is flexibility, to go eat with their friends, go to the dining hall, maybe go get some food in one of the other dining facilities. And ESF's new Moon Cafe is looking really great in Moon Library, and that's where a lot of students will go. But the primary place where your students will be getting food will definitely be in the dining halls. So there's a variety to choose from, but our Sadler Dining Hall, which is closest to Centennial Hall, is the one that is most commonly used by our students.
And I just want to put this out there. I was in the chat earlier, so this may have been said in the presentation, but it never hurts. For a reminder, separate from the meal plan in your rooms here in Centennial Hall, every room is provided with a mini fridge and a microwave. So you do have that ability, late night snacks, and we have some pretty awesome vending machines down here in Centennial Hall. So there's just a lot of options I just wanted you to be available for.
Is our last slide, Amelia? You. A little bit more information. There are ways to add money to your cards and to, sorry, I've got my chat right in front of this slide, so I can't order that, by downloading the Get website app. And then again, Q's Cash, you'll start with the minimum. If I'm assuming that most of our students are going to want to start with one of the block plans and see if that works for them. But again, that the 85 block plan or the 130 block plan, as part of that plan, includes $200 in dining dollars, plus we're requiring an additional $500 in Q's Cash. So, and you can add to that Q's Cash balance whenever you need to. And the easiest way to do that is visiting the Get website and learning a little bit more about that. The blue and the orange plans are unlimited plans. So there isn't a limited number of meal swipes. What I would suggest that you do is that you go to the Syracuse University website and you can read more about kind of the benefits and the offerings of each of the plans there. There's also a link to that information off of our website. When you go into the dining hall, it does automatically count as a swipe. And so that's why I was suggesting that maybe you think about using your, if you're going to have, the 85 meal plan, which is, as I said, a little bit less than one meal a day, you're going to want to think about making sure that you use that to be most beneficial for you and maybe have your biggest meal there. So if you're looking to get something small, a snack, a cup of coffee, a soda, your dining dollars and your Q's Cash are usable not just in Moon Cafe and Trailhead Cafe, but also all over SU's campus. And so I want to echo what Amelia said. One of the, I think, nicest parts about the meal plans is the flexibility that you have. So at some point you may find yourself with a class at Syracuse University, or you need to go to the library, or you're working out. You can use those things at their facilities at Syracuse University, the dining dollars and the meal plans. So Centennial's vending machines are not tied to this system. Great questions. If you have a special diet and you're concerned about that, we work very, very closely with the dietitian at Syracuse University, Ruth Sullivan. This includes things like allergies, other special needs, celiac disease, and so on. Would encourage you to look again at the Syracuse University website to get more information about the services that they can provide. You can reach out to Ruth directly to work with her. I've been at ESF now for 11 years. There hasn't been a single diet that she will make sure that could be accommodated at Syracuse University in their dining facilities. So they do a really, really great job for their students and for our students, and are very, very helpful. So I can talk a little bit about, because we always get this question, talk a little bit about billing. That kind of planning for how and when you're going to need to pay for things. So your initial bills should be sent out here at the latter part of this week. They usually are slated to go out on or around July 15th, and they're due on August 15th. And again, remember that the Syracuse University meal plan bills will not be on your ESF bill. That will be on an SU Bursars bill, which you'll need to access through MySlice, which is the student information system at Syracuse. Our student information is a different student information system. But for those of you who are getting financial aid, your financial aid will be applied to your bill. And then sometimes there will be an overage of what's probably meant to be used toward your meal plans. Those overages come through a company called Bank Mobile. So you're going to want to set up your account with Bank Mobile to choose how you want to receive your refund. So most people set that up so that it comes via direct deposit. That's the fastest way to get your refund. But they can also issue a check, and that might take a few weeks longer to receive. So that's how domestic students get their refunds. International students will get any refunds coming to them through a check from the college. So you want to make sure that your mailing address information is always up to date in our student information system, which is Banner. So if you've got specific questions about billing, you can always reach out to our Bursars office, and that contact information is there. The chat closely, but the one that I do see is the question about visiting parents and family dining in the residence halls. Yes, my understanding is that you can use a meal swipe for your guests as part of those 85 or 130 meals. And certainly you can use your dining dollars or your Q's cash to help pay for that. And I think you can also pay cash or credit card. So the question that's answered on the Syracuse University Dining Services webpage. So lots of information about residence life and meal plans. And as the slide says, as a reminder, we're recording this, so feel free to go back and take a look at that or share this with people who maybe weren't able to join us tonight. And then we've got 3 upcoming sessions for the next 3 Tuesdays. We will be talking about different topics, and I'm guessing that that's probably on the next slide, or Amelia can remind me of what they are. Thank you. Next week, we're going to talk about academic life. And then 2 weeks from now, we're going to talk about student mental health and wellness. And then involvement opportunities when you start in the fall will be. There are no activities planned for, we will probably do some kind of gathering on Monday evening with our students who move in on Monday and our families. But we're still working on that schedule. So Amelia, can you talk a little bit about the math placement question?
Sure. If your student hasn't received or maybe got closed out of their math placement exam, all you have to do is just email me directly. I'll put my contact information is actually up on the screen right now, and I will get you an additional link, and you can kind of pick up where you left off. If you have other questions about that, though, feel free to reach out and ask. So it seems like everybody had a lot of really wonderful questions. We'll be kind of doing a Q&A with our panelists. And then when there's kind of no more questions, we'll wrap up. But just know that these wonderful folks are available for consultation at later dates. And I'm sure you'll have plenty of other questions that we'll try to do our best to answer in some of our future communications with you, as well as some of the upcoming Zoom sessions that we have available for you. So So we have a question in the chat about hanging things on the walls in Centen and e-bike storage. Can anybody field that one?
Yeah, so we ask that you hang things in your room with either thumbtacks or the blue tacky like poster hanging stuff. We find that you can't, like, nails or screws definitely damage the walls and will cause a lot of damage. And if you don't know how to properly take off a command strip, it can take off a large portion of paint. So we ask that you try to cause the least amount of damage when hanging things. The bike room is available to anyone. There is a small fee to be able to keep your bikes there. I would say reach out about the e-bike because it might be against fire code depending on how it derives its power. So please send us an email about that so that way we can make sure that we give you the correct information. Oh my gosh. And I can see for 2-bedroom suites, each room does not have its own mini fridge and microwave. It is in the shared unit that you would have the mini fridge and the microwave. And the beds are twin XL beds. And Scotch tape and masking tape can be used to hang what you would like to do. Painter's tape also is a great tape that works in our halls. And then it is completely up to students if they want to bring a bike. Some of our students are extremely active, and so they like to bike around. It's not a requirement by any means. So it's completely up to them. There are tons of ways to get around campus and around the Syracuse area. Vacuums are available for rent at the front desk. So all you need to do is bring down your ESF ID card and we exchange that for a vacuum. And then when you bring it back, you get your ID card back. We also have brooms and dustpans. Please feel free to bring things like Clorox wipes. If you are very particular about cleaning, you might want to bring, like those Swiffer dusters and things like that. We do provide spray cleaners for the bathrooms. So if you want something more than just what we provide, you can absolutely bring that. And Keurig style coffee makers are absolutely allowed in the rooms. We just ask that there are no exposed hot plates like the old style coffee makers that I used to use. Those have an exposed hot plate in the area of fire hazards. We can't have those. As far as the triple rooms are concerned, we have multiple pictures of the rooms. It is bunk beds and then a lofted bed. And under the lofted bed would be a desk and an armoire. There are 3 desks, 3 sets of furniture. You can go online and see what those look like. Let me see. I see there's a couple in the showers. We do provide shower curtains in the bathrooms. Obviously, if you want to decorate a little bit more, feel free to get a fancy one and bring it to help show your personality. LED lights are allowed, but we ask that they not be the self-adhesive ones because those cause a lot of damage to the walls and you will be charged when you move out for the damage. So if you're going to hang up LED lights, we ask that it be with the thumbtacks because that is the best way to cause the least amount of damage. Insurance for your belongings is completely up to you. It's not a requirement, but it is completely up to you of whether or not you would like to do that. I've worked on multiple college campuses where sometimes it is necessary, sometimes it isn't necessary at all. So it's completely for you and your peace of mind, whether or not you choose to do so. I'm not going to try to persuade you one way or the other.
I can maybe pop in and talk about some vegan options. So ESF is very cognizant, and we actually have a lot of vegans and vegetarians who are students on campus and faculty and staff. So there's always going to be a variety of different offerings. However, those kind of are on a rotating basis like the rest of our menu. However, there are some vegan staples that do remain on the menu that will probably be unveiled and discussed a little bit later in the semester when we have our trailhead facility open and running. However, they are always open to feedback. And they do listen to kind of what the students' preferences are. We also listed earlier on in the slide presentation, we do have and consult with a nutritionist over at Syracuse University who can really help plan out your meals if this is something that you want to be cognizant of, kind of the food that you're taking in, or if you have any other dietary restrictions. But our students always advocate for vegan options, so I'm sure that there will always be plenty available.
There are blinds on all of the windows. We do not allow you to have curtains. It is against fire code to have curtains in the residence halls, but there are blinds on all of the windows. If you need specific question or specific measurements about things, or you're wondering about, how big is the shower curtain, how big are the closets, things like that, please send us an email at centennialhall@graystar.com and we can get you those answers. There are multiple places throughout Centennial Hall that are private. So we have a couple study rooms. We do have the multi-purpose room. It tends to be a very quiet area in general. There's a beautiful outdoor location when the night is, when the weather is great, so that you can make phone calls. We provide you with a recycling bin. I would suggest bringing a trash can, and if you compost, we're working with the sustainability team to start a pilot project about compost containers, but if you have one that you really enjoy, you can bring that with you as well. And the residence halls do not have nightstands, so they have, twin XL beds, stackable dressers, so they're 2-drawer units that stack. You would either have a closet or an armoire. We do provide desk chairs, but there are no locking drawers in the rooms. Your room is either fob access or key access, depending on what style of room you have. But once you're in the space, there are no additional locks other than the bathrooms. 2-bedroom suites, the bedroom doors do have individual locks, so they don't have access to each other's space, but the common space is shared. So people that have armoires will also have drawers. So everyone will have dresser drawers. If you don't have a specific closet, you will have an armoire instead. And those are just for the triple rooms. And then if you are interested, we actually do have a pop-up shop that Amelia brought up. So during move-in, our sustainability team actually worked to collect donations. And so in an effort to be sustainable, there will be a pop-up shop during move-in. So if you need excess things, we will definitely have them available during that move-in. And I know that our students are fantastic. And if they showed up with things that they don't need, oftentimes they will find friends who might be able to use it. It's a very friendly group of folks that live in Centennial Hall and go to ESF. Oh my gosh. The desks do not have their own lights, so it's just a flat. It's not a hutch style. So please feel free to bring desk lights. And as far as Centennial Hall goes, we only guarantee housing for first-year students, which is why I shared that October 12th day that we start. housing. So typically, if you are early on your housing and October 12th, you sign up, you will have a room for the following year. This past year, we actually didn't have a wait list or have to turn anyone away until November started the wait list. And then we weren't turning people away until after April when we no longer had space. So if you are on top of your stuff and you get your housing request in and you want to live in Centennial, make sure that you do it October 12th or a day or two after that. And we can make sure that you get your housing at that point. And there are additional room types for upperclassmen only. So there are 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments. There are 3 one-bedroom apartments, and there are 2-person apartments with a cooktop in them that are reserved for upperclassmen only, that we don't offer out to first-year students. And yes, there are more first-year students this year than usual. So it is very exciting that we're able to have 50 more students come join us than we were originally expecting, which just means that there's even more people to make friends with and more people to have as study buddies and really get to build a cohort and some lifelong friendships. You can receive packages. They are delivered directly to Centennial Hall at the front desk. You will receive an email throughout the summer about how to do your address. And so you can have packages delivered for when you move in. You can get your regular mail there too. You will have a mailbox and you'll have the key to your mailbox. And make sure that your email is correct within the resident portal, because that's how we send you when you have a package.
Another piece of information that I've been getting in some of the direct messages to me throughout the presentation was about the schedule for orientation and some of like the questions of, okay, well, I'm a family member. When do I depart campus? So after move-in on Tuesday, which is our kind of all room move-in, basically we will be having a welcome session at 4 p.m. With our president and some of the other faculty and staff over at Syracuse University and ESF. After that, we'll join everyone on the quad for a giant barbecue, and then we'll have a family departure. Your students will be required that night to attend Centennial Hall floor meetings where they'll learn some expectations of living in the residence halls. And then they'll also meet with their orientation leader small group so that they can start building those friendships starting kind of on day one. As we shared previously too, students who are living in triple rooms will get a little bit of an added bonus to their schedule because they'll have one more full day of kind of programming and an opportunity to kind of connect with one another. The barbecue will start concurrently right after the welcome session, which will be approximately 5 o'clock or whenever everybody kind of ventures over to the quad. We will be unveiling that schedule relatively soon. So that will be available on the website and will also be sent out via our countdown to orientation welcome emails. Well, I want to be cognizant of everyone's time tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and a special thank you to all of our panelists. We're really excited to have you join us. And if you do have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And we hope to see you during our next session, which will be next Tuesday night, July 19th. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
So I can see there was a question about keeping electronics safe. So I would say make sure that your student keeps their door locked. That's the main part. And for computers, you can actually get a cord that goes into your computer that will lock to the desk to keep them safe.
Okay, if there aren't any lingering questions, I'm going to let our panelists go for the night. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you, Amelia. You too.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you,
Bye.
friends.
Bye.